Hi everyone, today we are going to talk about adding and subtracting rational numbers. This is not anything new. You did this in 6th grade, you did this in 7th grade, so it should not come as a surprise to you what we're doing today. So let's start with adding two positive numbers. Now you know what this is. You've done this since you were in elementary school. What operation do you use to find the answer? Is your answer positive and negative? Well, 3 plus 4 is 7. 6 plus 9 is 15. 2 plus 8 is 10. And the operation we used was addition. And our answer is positive. What about if both numbers are negative? Well, negative 7 and then I have negative 3 more, I have a total of negative 10. If I have negative 4 and negative 8 more, I have a negative 12. Negative 9 and negative 7, I have a negative 16. Again, I'm using just addition, but my answers will be negative. So if both my numbers are negative, I just add them together and keep it negative. What about opposites? Well, opposites are numbers that are the same distance from 0, but in the opposite direction. So negative 5 and 5, 10 and negative 10. Well, if I put a negative and a positive together, they cancel each other out. They're a zero pair. So this would be 0, this would be 0, this would be 0, this would be 0, this would be 0. So negative 5 plus positive 5 will give me 0. Positive 10 plus negative 10 will give me 0. If I add two opposites together, my answer is always 0. They just cancel each other out. Now let's talk about different signs. I have 4 and negative 3, and that gives me a positive 1. Negative 5 and 7, positive 2. 8 and negative 4 gives me positive 4. But why are these answers positive? Let's look at them a little bit further. 4, if I'm at 4 and I add a negative 3, if you remember in 6th grade we taught you to always start at the starting number and face that direction, but whenever you see a minus, you turn around. So if I start at 4, I see that minus 3, I'm going to turn around and go here. So 4 plus negative 3 is going to go this way. 1, 2, 3, and that's going to leave me at positive 1. If I start at negative 5, again, I start facing the right, and I don't see any minuses after that, so I'm going to keep right, and I'm going to add 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's how I get to that positive 2. And lastly, if I start at positive 8, always facing to the right, I see that negative sign, so I turn around and I go 1, 2, 3, 4, and that gets me to that positive 4. So why are these answers positive? Now, if you notice, the 4, my positive number, is larger. The absolute value of my positive number is 4. The absolute value of my negative number is 3. 4 is bigger than 3, so my positive number is bigger than my negative number. So positive wins. I have a negative 5 and a positive 7. My positive number is larger than the absolute value of my negative number, which is 5. So my positive number wins. I have more positive than negative. Same here, my positive number is an 8, my negative number is a 4, so my positive number wins. Now let's look at these next group. I have negative 6 and a positive 2. If I'm at negative 6 and I add a positive 2, I'm at negative 4. If I'm at 5 and I add a negative 10, that means I'm going to go this direction. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. It brings me to a negative 5. Or if I'm at negative 9 and I add a positive 1, I'm at negative 8. So why are these answers negative? In this case, it's because my negative numbers have a bigger absolute value than my positive numbers. 6 is bigger than 2. My negative number has a larger absolute value than my positive number, negative 10. But 10 is bigger than 5. Absolute value of negative 9. 9 is bigger than 1. So my negative numbers all have absolute values that are larger than my positive numbers, so the negative wins. I didn't clear my screen. I still have writing from before. Sorry about that. Okay, now what do we notice about these? If I have a negative 5 minus a negative 6, a positive 5 minus a negative 6. And what's the opposite of a negative? Minus a negative. That is a positive. Minus a negative. That is a positive. So now here I had 5 plus 6, which is 11. Now I have 2 plus 13, which is 15. 7 minus a negative 2. Well, the opposite of a negative is a positive. 7 plus 2, 9. Negative 4. The opposite of this negative 10 is a positive 10. Then my positive number is larger than my negative number, so my answer is going to be 6. So when subtracting a negative, you end up adding the numbers. Try these ones. Oops, I went a little too far. Let's see what you come up with. Pause the video and then check back. When you unpause your video, see, did you get the same answers as me? Remember, this becomes adding. 6 plus 3 is 9. 9 minus 13, negative 4. This becomes adding. Negative 21 plus 7, it's negative 14. I'll try a couple more. If I have my negative 3, think of this as a negative 4. Negative 3, negative 4, and negative 11. Think of those all as negatives. Negative 3 and negative 4 is negative 7, plus negative 11 will give me a negative 18. I have this minus a negative, I'm making that to a plus right away. So now I have a negative 19, but then I'm adding positive 6 and negative 8. Well, negative 19 and positive 6 is negative 13. Negative 13 and negative 8. Right, answer is right over here so it doesn't interfere with picture. Negative 21. Okay, now I have some fractional answers. Do you remember how to add fractions? I have 1/3 plus negative 2. Well, there's a number of ways you can deal with this. I'm going to rewrite it because I like my fractions written this way. I'm going to make that 2 into a fraction with a negative 2 over 1. When I add fractions, I need to have common denominators, so I'm going to rewrite this with the denominator of 3. So times 3, this would be 3, times 3, this would be 6. Now I have a positive 1/3, negative 6/3. My negative is larger than my, well, not larger, but the absolute value is larger than my positive. So negative 6 and 1 is going to be negative 5 over 3. If I wanted to make that back into a mixed number, it'd be negative 1 and 2/3. But I'm okay right now with you leaving as improper fractions. Let's do the next one. I have 7/16 minus a negative 1/2. Well, the first thing I want to do is, oops, I went too far again. First thing I want to do is change that into a plus. Again, I'm going to need to have a common denominator. So what common denominator can I have? Well, I can have 16. So if I rewrite this with the 16 on the bottom, I'm multiplying by 8. If I multiply the denominator by 8, I have to multiply the numerator by 8. 1 times 8 is 8. So 1/2 is the same as 8/16. Now I have 7/16 plus 8/16. That is 15/16. Okay, now I have a whole bunch of things. I have 1. I have a negative 1/2. I have negative 1/3. And negative 1/4. What could I use for a common denominator? Well, I think of 12. 1 over 1. 1 over 2. 1 over 3. And 1 over 4. So if I use 12 for my common denominator, I multiply 1 by 12, get 12. Multiply 1 by 12, get 12. See how 12 over 12 is the same as 1? If I make 2 into 12, I multiply by 6. So 1 times 6 is 6. Why did I write down 6? I should have been at 12. Should have what I multiplied by instead of my answer. 3, I multiply by 4. 3 times 4 is 12. So 1 times 4 is 4. 4, I multiply 3 to get 12. And 1 times 3 is 3. Now we're just going to move left to right. 12/12 minus 6/12 leaves me with 6/12. Then I have minus 4/12. And then minus 3/12. I have 6/12 minus 4/12 gives me 2/12. Minus 3/12. I'm going to compare this negative 3 to this positive 2. Negative wins. I have a negative 1/12. Could you do it quicker? I'm sure you could, but take as many steps as you need. Okay, now I have both negative. Okay, oh, nope, I don't. I thought I had a couple examples, so I was going to do them both. So let's look at this. I have negative 5/6, negative 2/3, both negative. So I know my answer is going to be negative. I need a common denominator. I'm going to use 6. So I would multiply the denominator by 2 to get 6. So I'd multiply the numerator by 2 also. So I have negative 5 6 and a negative 4 6. I combine them. I get negative 9. Because remember, if the signs are the same, just add and keep the sign over 6. Can I simplify that? I think I can. 3 goes into both of them, so if I divide both the numerator and denominator by 3, I get negative 3 over 2. Like I said, I'm okay with you keeping that improper. If you want to, you can make it into a mixed number. It's negative 1 and 1/2. But I'm okay with those improper fractions. That's it. Have a wonderful day.